to the walking tour of downtown Seattle, where I'll show you what to see and do in just 48 hours. Look for the map at the end of the video that will highlight all of the places to visit. Seattle is a diverse place with lots of sights to see, unique architecture, restaurants, especially seafood, and waterfront on this city located right on Lake Union. So here's my challenge today. I'm spending the weekend in Seattle without a car and want to see if I can walk everywhere to tour the downtown area. The question is, how far will I be able to go? And what sites will I be able to show you to make sure this video stays interesting on our tour of Seattle? Welcome to Life Across the Sea, where we visit faraway places, people, food, and culture, so you can see what life is like so far away.
Hi, I'm Eric, the host of Life Across the Sea. And today we are visiting the Seattle, Washington area of the Pacific Northwest here in the States.
So here's the rules for this challenge. I'm not able to take Uber or Lyft or any type of public transportation once I arrive downtown from the airport. It all must be toured while walking, and I have to promise to keep the video interesting by showing you the top 20 places to visit in the downtown Seattle area. Look for the complete list of the top 20 places to visit and the map that will highlight all of the locations at the close of this video. Keep in mind, it's early February, so the temperatures are in the 30s and 40s with rain forecasted. That might not seem like a big deal, but I'm from sunny Southern California, so this is going to be cold and wet for me to be outside all day. So do you think I can get this walking tour completed in just a weekend? Well, stay tuned and see all the interesting things to do and see here in Seattle in less than 48 hours by foot. The first part of my plan was to pick a relatively central hotel, so I chose the Renaissance Hotel. It's not fancy or anything, but it's part of the Marriott group of hotel brands, so I get points for staying there, and sometimes I even get a room upgrade if it's available. The hotel was fine. Very interestingly, the staff was very international. My only complaint was that the restaurant was closed all weekend, even though several overseas flight crews stayed there. I would have loved to have found out where they all went out to eat, since they're regulars at the hotel. And that just added to my walking tour to find places to eat, to make it a little more interesting. So I ended up at the Purple Cafe for lunch after arriving there at the hotel, and it was only about a half a mile walk, so about 10 minutes. The food was good, and it was a mix of Northwest ingredients and other local things. And it's also a combination of kind of a trendy wine bar. One of the interesting things to see here is the first Starbucks location, to see where the idea for the company all started. Since this video is a walking tour of downtown Seattle and some of the interesting things to see and do here, well, let's go ahead and start with the very first Starbucks location and take a look. The original Starbucks is right across the street from the farmers market at Pike Place. Founded in 1971, it certainly has grown to be a remarkable number of locations. It can be quite busy, as you can see. Well, let's take a closer look. This is the first ad that ran on Starbucks along with this article. That is the original 1-pound bag of Starbucks coffee ever sold. As you can see, it's not a large location, especially compared to some of the others today. Hello, how are you? Good. The The pig above the door is named Pork and Beans and has a coffee pattern to it. The pig is to acknowledge the history and community of Pike Place. The pig represents fertility, prosperity, and luck in various cultures. So just as a reminder, we are now just right across the street from the farmers market here at Pike Place, just a couple blocks from the water. I always think of this place as the fish market, but there are many other vendors here on the weekend, and it's about 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning right now. These guys here asked me what I was doing, since they saw the camera, and they decided to put on a bit of a show for us.
TT for Eric! TT for Eric! Yeah!
One of the guys said, "Hey, what mic are you using there?" Apparently, fishermen like to take videos too.
Yeah!
Lots of different seafood to see here. Look at the size of the crab and the assortment of fish. Seattle is known for its salmon, its crab, and clam chowder, among other seafood delicacies. There are a lot of independent shops and a few restaurants throughout the Pike Place Market area, which again is just a couple blocks up from the water of Lake Union. Let's take a look around and see what else is close by within walking distance. Well, not too far away is the Great Wheel. There are several seafood restaurants there, and other things to see along Lake Union and the wharf area. The Aquarium is located at Miners Place at Pier 57 and the wharf area, and offers a glimpse into the marine life of the Pacific Northwest. This includes otters, octopus, and a colorful array of fish. If you like the idea of the top 20 places to visit in a city or a particular location, please let me know in the comment section below the video. I always want your feedback to make sure my content is engaging, as I always do quite a bit of research before recording these videos to be sure to keep it on point and interesting. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so others can find this content. Here's a couple of guys having fun with a live chess game. Though you better be confident if you're playing in front of everyone, as it's quite public if you make a wrong move. Even in February, you can see people boating on Lake Union behind us. You can even get boat tours of the general coastline area. You can also visit the gum wall, if you'd like to contribute to it anyway. Well, the Great Wheel is a giant Ferris wheel. It provides fantastic views of the city and Elliott Bay. Continuing on with our tour, this is the Seattle Art Museum. There are a lot of things to see downtown, including some unique architecture. As you can see, I did get caught out in the rain today. One thing I should mention though, there is a significant homeless population here, and it has been that way for quite some time. It's not easy to get away from it in the downtown area. I saw a deal online for the Pan Pacific Hotel, which is one of my favorites, as I like the one up in Vancouver, Canada in particular, which is a really nice place. You know, folks that are planning to take a cruise up to the Inland Passage in Alaska often stay at, whether the one here in Seattle or whether the one up in Vancouver, Canada. Well, the Inland Passage in Alaska has a typical season of about May through August. I did it a few years back over the 4th of July time period, and at that time of the year, the sun is up all day and night except for a few hours. It kind of looks like some mix between sunset and dawn. Of course, the opposite is true in the wintertime. You only get about 6 hours of daylight in the middle of the day, say like in February. So continuing on with our tour. This is Pine Street and 5th Avenue and has the Westlake Center shopping area. It's a primary shopping area for stores downtown for stores like Nordstrom, Saks Fifth Avenue, and the like. The mall area does close at 7 p.m. on the weekends, so be sure to get there early. Nordstrom's headquarters is just around the corner on 7th Avenue, as this Nordstrom store is the original location for this upscale department store. It was almost Chinese Lunar New Year, so I did see a couple of areas planning for this celebration getting ready. The other main shopping area is Pacific Place, which has several designer brands and is just a block away from Westlake Center. Another area for shopping is the Pioneer Square area. There are art galleries, bookstores, and boutiques, often with unique architecture. Pioneer Square is known as Seattle's original neighborhood and includes an underground tour that explores Seattle's history and old city remnants after a fire. Another area to see is the Columbia Center Sky View Observatory, which is the tallest building in the city. It offers the best views of Seattle with 360-degree views. The Seattle Central Public Library is also something to see with a very strikingly modern architecture. Its design and public art displays make it a place to see if you have the time. Well, slightly north of downtown is the MoPop, which is the Museum of Pop Culture. It's dedicated to contemporary popular culture and it exhibits everything from music like Nirvana and Jimi Hendrix to science fiction and video games. So kind of a fun place to see. Of course, right next door is the Space Needle, and also a very popular location to visit. No Seattle tour would be complete without it, so it's convenient that it's right next door to the MoPop Museum. That was the longest walk that I had to make. Well, it's only about a mile from Pike Place, so it only took about 20 minutes or so. Well, the Renaissance Hotel where I stayed was located on Madison Avenue and 6th Street. So about 3/4 of a mile walk to Pike Place, so about 15 minutes. The downtown area is a bit of a grid, so once you kind of figure out where the streets are, it's really not that hard to navigate. This was an interesting totem pole that I found close to the water area. The best place to see Mount Rainier from downtown is on a clear day from either the Columbia Center Sky View Observatory or the Great Wheel looking to the south. The best views are usually in the morning before the clouds develop. So that concludes our downtown walking tour of Seattle. And it was actually quite doable to walk the entire destinations to all the different things you want to see. Here's the complete list of the top 20 places to visit. Be sure to take a screenshot so you have the complete list with you. I'll also put this list in the description area for this video. Please let me know what you thought of this video in the comment section. Here's a map of most of the destinations to visit. Here's a second view, a bit wider overall view of the Space Needle and the MoPop Museum, which are both the farthest away to the north of downtown. Since the city is laid out in this grid-like fashion, once you understand where Pike Street is from your hotel, so that's the farmer's market and all of that, and then you see the cross streets going the other direction from 1st Street, which is closest to the water, and then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th up to 6th Street, which is kind of the top of the grid, and that's going away from the water, then it's easy to kind of navigate yourself from place A to place B. It was pretty easy to get around to these various locations. It really wasn't that far walking at all. I did survive the cold weather, and it did rain on me, as you could see. After all, it is Seattle, but all in all, it was quite doable to do the entire downtown area as a walking tour. As long as you start out at one of the hotels in the general downtown area, you should be fine. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and you look forward to the next as we continue to explore places, people, and culture with life across the sea.